Adriana, my friend, I am so damn excited to have you at this kitchen table. Here we are leading into Black Friday. Girl, you got so many demands of your damn time, and you made the space for us. Thank you for that.
Of course. I'm only sorry to you for my appearance right now as I navigate this week, but I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Mm. So I've been thinking about you all damn day. What I wanted to ask you, what I wanted to tap into from your wisdom and your journey to share with our tribe. And the first thing that came into my mind is that in our Instagram world,
Hmm.
that can feel like it exhilarates anxiety, doesn't it? It can.
Hmm.
About can I do the thing? Who am I? And people could look at the gift that is you today and be like, damn, look at her building this beautiful movement and rocking and rolling. Two kids, amazing husband. How's she do it? And I would love to ask you, like, just this human moment, girl, what do you do when the conversation, whether it's business, at home, or what you had intended, doesn't go the way you hoped?
Oh my gosh. I think that, well, for starters, when it comes to like what you see on social media, it's so hard to compare your life for what you have against what others appear to have because
Mm,
that's not the full picture. And this is even coming from someone who I consider myself to be, extremely transparent on social, and I
mm,
show all of it as much as I can, as much as I'm like, you know, able to show
mm-hmm.
as still running a business. Um, but it's not the full picture even on my side, right? So like I can just guarantee you that there's no reason to be comparing yourself to others and what they have and how it seems like they've got it all together, because even if you're as transparent as they can be, your natural instinct isn't to pick up the phone and record yourself when you're crying. Like that's not
Right.
natural. I'll do it just to kind of help show the community that that exists and that it's normal. But even when I do it, that feels more unnatural because your gut instinct is to hide those moments
Yes.
from the world. And that's okay. That's not a bad thing. It's it's turned it's turned social media into a very dangerous place because
Mm,
ultimately everything you see is just the highlight. It's just the positive. So you can compare yourself, but make sure you're comparing your best days to what you see because that's everyone else's best foot forward.
yeah.
Um, so I would kind of start there. And then when it comes to like how I respond when things just don't come to fruition the way I had hoped or planned, I just live my life by this principle of, I give grace. I give grace
Mm,
to others and I give grace to myself. And I think that is actually true kindness, is being open and being willing to accept realities as you face them and not feeling so precious about
mm,
what you had hoped would happen, and instead accepting what did happen and what you have, and understanding that like if it's a result of how you moved, you did your best and that's good enough. And if it's just a result of like that's just life and things don't always happen as we hope for, you just kind of have to give grace to the moment and know like that's okay, because tomorrow's a new day and I still have this, goals 1 through 7 I'm trying to accomplish. It's okay if I didn't make, goal 8.
yeah.
I think we just have to shift our narrative around like expectation and reality and being okay with your reality and knowing that you can shape it, but it's all about mindset and what you're
Mm.
okay with navigating, if that makes sense. I
Oh
ran
God.
a lot. I'll just forewarn you and the listeners.
Oh girl, I love me a good run. But listen, sister, we've been on this for a hot minute and you are already taking me to church. I'm like, preach, Adriana, preach, girl. So you talk about mindset, and I gotta tell you, my sister, I did not realize what a powerful fuffin tool that is in this loud world, especially as a woman, right? You are out there trying to build this movement. You're a mama, you're a wife, and it can just get so loud. Do you have any rituals, any goalposts, anything that you do to continue to be aware and stand guard at your mind and keep it strong and keep it in touch with you to not lose you in all the things?
Yeah. It's going to sound like a plug, and I promise you it's not. But these bracelets,
Mm,
this product that I wear on my wrist every single day, it's not just because I own the brand and it's not just because I founded it. It's because they work. It's the power of positive words, not
mm,
necessarily positive thinking and not necessarily positive thought, but the words we tell ourselves matter. The things we say matter. So when you say it right on your wrist and I can look down, and even though I'm afraid, are you kidding me? I run this multi-million dollar business that started in my parents' basement. Okay. So like I'm just a girl. I did not anticipate having any of this success. I believed in myself, but I didn't know what it would be like to run a business at this level, at this magnitude. And frankly, I don't know that I'm the perfect fit for the job. And I think about that all the time. And I'm every single year where if we miss a number or we miss this or miss that, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I failing this business?
mm,
So I still have those imposter syndrome feelings. And I literally will look down at my wrist and see the beat the odds bracelet
mm,
that one of the VPs on my team handed me after I shared those fears with her.
mm,
And it was such a poignant moment. It matters so much to me, that moment, and the bracelet that I wear as a result. And that's the whole point of this brand and Little Words, is that
mm,
they are the words we tell ourselves right on our wrist. And so when I look down and I see beat the odds and I see grateful and I see believe and I see my kids' names, it it reminds me of my why, and it helps me center and ground myself in moments of complete chaos or fear. I literally look down and tell myself those mantras and those words, and that exposure of your brain
mm,
to that positive physical thing is more than just being like, okay, everything will be fine. It's instead like it's just an action that your body does, and it changes the subconscious.
mm.
And that's science. Okay. I'm not a scientist, nor do I claim to be one, but we are actually we're in the process of getting a study off the ground where we can kind of unpack that a little further, because it works for me. It works for the thousands and thousands and thousands of women who are in this community, and men. um and so it's just my grounding point, to be able to look down and see those words. It gets me through.
Adriana, I love when you talked about speaking and being human to your VP and sharing, letting the mask down, that it is easy to hide behind in
Mm-hmm.
this world, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this has been an awareness for me at 40. Here's to freaking getting to know yourself, right? The
Yeah.
evolution of you. But my fear of abandonment and like putting up the mask and being like, I'm fine, I got it. What do you do, or do you have, one thing I find is that as life gets busier for us, the first thing that goes for us is our tribe, and that tribe evolves as you evolve. Do you
Mm.
have any intentional practices or anything that you do to keep that tribe around you that you can be Adriana with, that you can be human with, that you can put that damn mask down with?
I think you know, I'll tell you, in this season that I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
I am like, I'm a good mom, I'm a good CEO, I'm an awful friend. And I am okay with that. And I am honest about that
Mm,
with my friends. I make no, like, there's make no mistakes about it. I am very clear. Listen, I know I'm a bad friend right now, and I know I'm not there for you as I would love to be right now, but this is a season, and all I can do is say that I am working my butt off
mm,
to maybe one day, be able to Sarah Blakely you and take you on a private jet on my birthday,
mm,
right? Like that would be a dream. I don't know that that's going to happen, but the point is I make it fun, I make it funny, and I do just kind of say like I appreciate your grace to me, because that is
mm,
kindness. And I'm going to just be honest with you. Like, I don't have it in me, because if I want to
mm.
be a great mom and a great CEO, and as you heard, I called myself good and good at
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
But if I want to be great, I need to retain all that capacity for myself, my children, and my business, which is, by the way, my first baby, right? So at the end of the day, I think it's all about transparency. It's about kind candor and letting people know the reality is what you have to give is what you have to give. And if the tribe around you is not okay with that, then they're probably not your people.
Mm,
All I know is that I've struggled in my journey of, from growing up dealing with bullying
yeah.
to going all the way through building this business. Like that kind of arc has been really intense. And I have always struggled with keeping really close relationship with friends and with people because I don't always trust that easily and it scares me. And I'm always afraid of being in a position of vulnerability where I then get rejected, but it doesn't stop me from doing it anyway.
Mm,
Really being vulnerable with the people around me, letting them in, because when you do that, you crack you take that mask off and you crack that wall. And then when people see the real you, they actually tend to love you a little more. And I think for me, it's like, why not just show the real you to all your people? Enough with the false pretenses, enough with trying to be something that you're not because you think that's what's expected of
mm.
you. And instead, like, be the friend who like doesn't bring anything to the potluck because you didn't have the time and you just are like, I'm so sorry. I'm the worst. I know it, but just I love you. And then the friend is like, honestly, I'm just glad you're here. Those are the conversations I have. And I think if you don't have that, I'd say let's take a look at your tribe and how can we edit it to
Mm.
be one that is supportive of you in whatever season you're in.
God, that's powerful. Girl, I loved when you talked about real you. Because I
Mm.
got to tell you, at 40, I think I'm just getting to know her. I think for the majority of my, actually, I know. For the
Yeah.
majority of my life, I was who I thought you needed me to be
Mm.
to get you to like me, to get
Mm.
the validation. When you say the real you, has that been a journey for you? Has that been something, or have you just been inherently sort of at your core knowing that?
No. And I think that's probably true for anyone, right? Nobody, I think, so funny. I just did an interview yesterday about my relationship with aging and how I feel about
Mm,
getting older. And I do find that with every passing year, I, I almost earn the right to be me
mm,
a little more, right? Like I'm stepping into my intuition every single day that I get older and wiser. And I believe that. And if it weren't for the media's like overall glorification of youth culture, we probably wouldn't feel like so less than as women who age, right? And I definitely grapple with that. I'm like, when am I going to do Botox? Like I had those like frownies on my face last night. Like I'm always working on my outward appearance, but my inner human nature and feeling about who I am only gets stronger with every passing year. And I think I might come off to others as extremely confident and
mm,
self-aware and someone who doesn't second guess herself ever, which one is I definitely appear that way. And I probably do have a better skill of it than most of my age demo and younger like
mm,
counterparts. And I think it's because I had to start a lot earlier than
mm,
most with dealing
mhm.
with bullying. Like I can remember a situation every year since I was in kindergarten all the way through college. Like that's 23 years of constant sense of otherness and being feeling less than, of being made to feel ugly or inside and out. Like I have gone through it all, and it only defines me in that it forced me at a young age to like decide, okay, do
Mm,
I want to be who they say I am, or am I who I believe and know I am?
mm,
And in that friction, I was constantly having to choose, whereas so many of us kind of get to just like coast, right? And
mm,
there's no one saying like, who are you going to be? Like nobody's pushing you.
mhm,
And in many ways, that's why I'm grateful for my experiences growing up, even though they come with them a lot of trauma, a lot of PTSD. And I do still find myself wanting to be liked. Like that's my topmost priority, I think, sometimes. And if I'm being honest, I want everybody who I meet to like me because I'm so afraid of the feeling that I get when they don't, which is who's going to start talking about me on what anonymous forum, who's going to, you know, say that I'm not who I say I am. Like that stuff really kills me. But I learn with every passing day. Every time I hear someone who I think is a safe space talking about me, I'm like, oh,
Mm,
wait a minute. Nothing is safe. Like, why do I expect differently? Why am I not just learning and growing? And it reiterates what I know to be true,
mm,
which is like, we've got ourselves,
mm.
we've got our small tribe, and we have to take care of that and honor that and put less weight in the public opinion of others,
Mm.
but know that all you can do is move forward as your best self and be confident in who that is, because that's like, what's the alternative? Just to not like yourself, you know, like that's, and so many of us live there, and so many of us live there. And I wish I could pull them out
Yeah.
because it's not fun.
Girl, I love how you kept going back to the lessons and finding the lessons. I feel like when you're able to look for it and find it,
Mm-hmm.
man, those tornadoes that come with life, they don't take you down for as hard and for as long, and they don't hurt as hard.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, I would love to go back to the Adriana that was in her parents' basement, that was being bullied, that used this as an outlet to help others in a way she needed and spread kindness. If you could take the DeLorean, Back to the Future reference, you and Doc and Marty McFly are flying back, girl, to that Jersey basement.
Yep.
What would you tell her?
Uh, um, I would tell her to just keep going. Just keep going, even when it gets tough, which it will, and it continues to keep going. And that'll be the difference between you and the competitive set that's on your heels than the people who maybe started and stopped. And to those who are not going to take it the distance, right, or take their own businesses, if that is a point of concern, right? And I think for me, I've always been struggling with this imposter syndrome. I've always looked at the brand as something that I had to explain away,
Mm,
right? Like explain away what they look like because they're so juvenile. So I have to make it seem legitimate. Like I've been fighting that feeling forever. And you know, that that youthfulness as a word has been intentional in the design of the product. It was always a part of the original design to have that youthful experience about it, because it was supposed to be nostalgic and remind you of simplicity and like being just girlhood, if you will.
yeah.
Um, but I always felt like I had to explain it away. And I think I would tell that girl, like, you have no idea what you're starting, not
Mm,
what you're essentially, you know, picking up, but what you're starting, because there was nobody out here doing
mm,
bracelets like this the way we are now and the way the world is now. And so I like to think we did have a hand in setting the trend that, you know, Taylor came along and was like the gasoline on the fire, right? But we did create a really beautiful foundation of this product. And I would tell that young woman who believed in it that
mm,
she's right, and she just has to keep pushing when it gets hard. And I think that could be true for everybody in a season of, you know, trying to build something. The only difference between you and the people that do end up getting there is they just kept going. And
mm.
that's where you just have to force the issue. When it's really hard, that's when you know you got to keep going, because the other people might stop,
Mm.
and that'll keep you in the running. I think that's it. I've just been here the longest, 11 years doing this, right? And it put me in a really beautiful position to be ready for when the world caught up to the friendship.
Mm. That
Yeah.
is a beautiful way to look at it. To
Yeah.
when the
Well,
world catches up.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Girl, you are in my mind because I wanted to ask you, what would your advice be
Mm.
to our woman right now, our tribe member, who is pulling up a seat with you and I, girl, around this kitchen table? And she's like, Meg, Adriana, I know that I am meant for more. I know it. I can feel it, but I'm feeling stuck. I don't know what to do. It feels paralyzing. What would you tell her?
I would ask her, when in her life up to this point has she proven to herself that she can navigate feeling stuck, that she can get out of the muck. Like, when has she in her past gotten out of that muddy space of not knowing what to do next, or feeling like she doesn't know what's best for her, what that next step is? And I would tell her to use that example as proof that she can do it again.
Mm,
I think so often we as people will look at all the proof of the negative, right? Our brains are constantly wired energetically to look for proof of what we believe. And so if you believe I'm stuck, this is impossible, I can't get out, I'm in a rut, I don't know what to do, you're going to stay there because the brain is going to prove to you that you're right. Your brain's trying to protect you and say, I want you to feel good about your thoughts. So let me prove, let me look around and see what I can find. And then next thing you know, you have more proof that you can't than proof that you can.
mm,
So I always say, like, you don't have to look around for proof. You can look backwards and you can look at
mm,
what you've been through. And we've all been through some shit.
mm,
I know that, right? Every one
mm-hmm,
of us. It's all relative.
mm-hmm,
So whatever you've been through, whether it be a heartbreak or the loss of a loved one or a job let you go or college was just hard, whatever it is, motherhood, geez, every day is a fight to survive, right?
mm,
If you
mm-hmm,
just look at those times you've done it, then now your brain doesn't need to seek external proof. You already have it internally. So just
mm,
trust, shift the
mm,
mind, and know that this moment in time, and this is the other principle that I live by through far and away, this moment in time is going to eventually just be a part of your story and the dots that connect each moment. And you'll be able to one day look back at all of those dots of all of that story and at this specific low period and know, oh, that's why I went through that, because it led me to this.
mm,
And so this concept that everything eventually makes sense, not necessarily that everything works out and not necessarily that everything happens for a reason, because I don't necessarily believe in those two things. But I believe that eventually you get the clarity that you need to
mm,
continue. And when I shifted that, I learned that initially with going through IVF with my first, which was a really hard period, right? Like, you have no control. And as someone who wants to be in control, like, there's no control there. Yeah. So when I went through that, I realized, like, I don't know what this is about. And I don't know why I'm going through this right now. And it was the hardest experience of my life to just be like, whatever happens, happens. Like, it really was hard. But I relaxed and I trusted a little bit more. Let me not say relaxed, because that's a trigger word for us infertility people.
mm.
I didn't relax. I was never fucking relaxed, to be clear. But
Actually, I take that back. I was not fucking
I
relaxed.
was not relaxed. And I don't want you to feel like you have to relax and it'll happen. That's annoying. But if you're in that place, I allowed the outcome to be
Mm,
whatever that is,
mm,
and it helped a little bit. And then I luckily got that happy ending. I know not everybody does, but I did get my first son out of that. And I look at him and I'm like, imagine if it was any other baby, and I think that's a really beautiful story version of what I'm trying to say. And again, not everybody has that, but there will be something that explains the why over time. And you have to believe it can be positive. And if you don't, your brain will literally always prove you to be right.
mm.
So believe that it's positive, believe in what can be true for you, and your brain will believe it too. And it's just this very intricate dance that's kind of sometimes gets a little preachy, but I promise you it's what keeps me going.
Yeah. God, girl, I almost had like a Teresa Judice moment flipping the table over, but in a positive way. Like, girl, freaking preach. I loved when you said I was relaxed. Actually, no, fuck no, I wasn't relaxed. I let the outcome be. And
Mhm.
God, that needs to be on like a t-shirt, bumper sticker. I love that because there's so much freedom
Yeah,
in
it's
that.
it's freedom.
Freedom.
All of the way I choose to be or live, and I believe in my brain. I believe in the power of what
Yeah.
I can create for myself. I look at my mom as an example of that. She's a Mexican immigrant, came to this country with nothing, and is the biggest believer in you are the architect of your own destiny.
Mm,
And I know that, again, extenuating circumstances are real for many, 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 most. But there's also something to be said about how much change of your own life can you actually affect if you believe that you can. And when you believe it, your body, the world, the universe opens up for you because it starts to believe it too.
mm.
And that's where you just kind of have to trust that. My favorite word is believe, if you couldn't tell. And I wear it every single day because it is the thing that keeps me pushing. And I think if we could all just be a little bit more focused on that and believing in that, we will all see the positive outcome we're
Yeah.
seeking.
Let me tell you something. Sitting across this screen from you for 20 minutes, I have to tell you, this is your calling in life to help women tap into who they are meant to be
Mm,
because you had to do it for you and you are meant to serve the woman that you had to heal and the woman that you were meant to be.
mm.
And I just feel called to tell you, girl, you are on the right path and you are helping so many women. So many women.
Gosh, you are so sweet to say that. Thank you so much. I have to be honest, I feel that too.
Yeah.
And it's part of why I wanted to start this brand. But even just in the years since starting the brand, I feel very in my pocket when I'm on these podcasts. I feel very in my pocket when I'm speaking on a stage to women and telling my story, because again, it provides purpose to the pain I went through. And in giving purpose to my pain, I feel like it was not for nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it makes all of that make sense.
Yeah.
And in life, we're all just a Rubik's cube, right? We're all just seeking, we want to be put together and we want to feel like we make sense and our life makes sense.
Mm.
And our brain's constantly searching for the pieces of the puzzle.
Yes.
And that's what my whole life's purpose is like, it's okay. I'll get it one day.
Mm.
And if at the end of all of this, I have nothing but, my family around me and, hopefully a legacy of beautiful business. But if I have nothing besides just my loved ones when my time comes, right? And I can look back on my life, hopefully it's an old age and I'm, alone in my bed, like the lady in the Titanic.
Yeah.
Um, I can look back and say, I understood it all. That's what
Mm.
I'm hoping for. I just want to understand it. So as you say that, I feel even more aligned that I'm in the right seat of my own bus. And
Yeah.
I just have to keep doing everything in my power to put myself in this position of being able to, like you said, um, inspire especially women to know and reach their fullest self-love potential. Forget
Mm.
life potential, just self-love. Just
Love.
give yourself love and love yourself and be okay with whatever that comes with and whatever anyone thinks of you. Like you can be the vainest girl in the room. Who cares? Love
Mm.
yourself. Um, and yeah, I appreciate you saying that because it means the world to me. And it was always a part of the goal to be able to actually affect change and impact those around me. And if it's not through this product, it can be through my actual words and not my little words.
Mm.
Or I also wrote a book, which I want to plug as well,
Yes.
because I do go through a lot of these stories and I do talk about a lot of the same stuff and I share the words that have gotten me through. So it serves as inspiration for your next little words bracelet or
Mm.
just a nice little nightstand book that you can kind of flip through and gain inspo from as you're navigating life's journey.
And where do we buy the book, my friend?
Yes. Oh my gosh. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it on Target. Actually, I believe it's on sale at Target by the time we launch this. You can buy it on our website. It's called The Power of Little Words
Mm.
by Adriana Carrig. It's this cute little purple book. And it's just, yeah, filled with little nuggets of wisdom.
What a beautiful gift to give the women in your life.
Yes. That
Right.
coupled with a bracelet
A
of your
bracelet.
favorite word that you think they need, it's like the perfect stocking stuffer, literally. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think just aside from that, just it really genuinely like great for young women, great for women of any age, just to kind of
Mhm.
know that like you're not alone in your life's difficulties. Those of us, if I'm going to be one of the representations of the women who have succeeded or are achieving greatness, then I want you to also know that there was a journey to get there
Oh
and it
yeah.
was a hard one. And it's filled with things that I could not control and things that I could. And I've fucked up both over
Yeah.
the entire journey, but that's okay. And failing forward is
Mm.
something else I would tell our friend at the table, that it's okay to not have it 100% right. You can get it wrong. And as long as you learn and you pick up the lesson and you apply it and you allow it to settle yourself into a place of I'm right where I'm supposed to be,
Mm.
then it's okay.
Mm. Girl, taking us right home, right home.
This was
Y'all,
great. I feel like I feel great about the conversation and how it was. If you could only see, like I am in my bed right now in my pajamas. I'll be honest. I'm doing the no pants dance at
beautiful.
o'clock because I've been in back to back meetings and I'm going to get on to back to back meetings from this point forward. And I just love that this is like kind of sandwiched in this day, this crazy Black Friday week, right?
Yep.
Like it's our Super Bowl right now. And this is sandwiched in. And I feel like I just, honestly, this was one of the best recordings I've ever done. Where I
Mm.
felt like I made quick, concise points. That's me thinking I made quick, concise points. You can tell me otherwise. Um,
Nope.
great. But
Great.
I certainly feel like you guys, everyone listening, just got the best version of me. And I think it has a
Mm.
lot to do with the fact that it's like the one moment of this day that I can just think about the why. And sometimes all you got to do is that.
And be real and just be
Yeah.
fucking human.
Yeah.
Like, right? It doesn't need to be so scripted or
No.
planned out. And I gotta tell you, from this seat, I felt like I was just sitting across the table from a dear girlfriend of mine, giving me the space to be human and to be seen.
Mm.
And
Well,
that is it.
that
That's a
delights me.
that's a beautiful gift. A beautiful gift. Y'all, I am going to link in the show notes Adriana's book, The Power of Little Words Project. I got to tell you, for my 40th birthday, my one of my
Yeah.
dear friends got me two bracelets, Badass and Intention.
Ooh.
And every time that I doubt myself that the gremlins come in, I look down to your point earlier, the power of the words, and it gives me so much courage.
Yeah. It's like, why do they work? I don't know, but I'm literally, I just said to my team, I want us to get a study in motion to prove it because it works. And it's like, it can't just be me saying it and it can't just be our community. Let's get the science because I'm telling
Yes.
you, it's the quick access to it's like a quick hit, right? It's like a little
Yes.
quick hit of inspiration. You look down, you see it, you keep going. And it's
Yes.
just better than being like, okay, let me meditate. Like, it's just so easy access to
Yes.
positive mindset. And it
Yes.
makes all the difference.
Thank you for saying yes.
Of course. Thank you for wanting me to say yes.
Girl, I love you and you're a beautiful gift to the world. Keep saying yes.
I will. Thank you.
Mwah.